Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cinema Snacks, the show where we talk about what to eat at the movies. I'm your host, Caramel Thunder, and today I'm going to be giving you a list of items, a list of things, a list of candies that you can add to your popcorn to make your popcorn a little more interesting, a little more flavorful than the normal just butter and salt. These are items that I've added to my popcorn over the years. These are things that I like to, from time to time, toss in with some popcorn. Usually, well, at least when we used to go to the movies, I would usually sneak a bag or some of these things in just so I could put it in the popcorn. And now that I'm home, I try to add it in every now and then when I'm eating popcorn at home. So without further ado, let's just get to the list. Let's just get in right there. Number one, Raisinets. Raisinets are if you didn't know, they are raisins, so a dried grape covered in chocolate. The candy itself is actually quite delicious. It's got this nice fruity, gooey inside with a hard chocolate shell on the outside. I frequently mix this into my popcorn. It's something I add in quite frequently, quite often. And I find it just absolutely delicious. There's something about the chocolate and the sweetness of the chocolate that mixes really well with the saltiness and butteriness of the popcorn. The only downside, though, is that with Raisinets, because it's chocolatey right there next to hot popcorn, is sometimes the Raisinets can melt into the popcorn. So then you got chocolatey, kind of messy popcorn to eat, which isn't a problem. It is just, a thing to be aware of. So if you are going to add Raisinets to your popcorn, either be prepared to get your hands a little messy, or be prepared to just wait a little bit till the popcorn cools down. I personally, though, I like mixing it up. I like to push aside the popcorn, pour some Raisinets in, really kind of layer the Raisinets in as much as I can, and then put some Raisinets on top. The Raisinets at the bottom aren't going to melt, the Raisinets at the bottom will melt, while the Raisinets near the top, where it's not as hot, those will stay nice and hard and unmelted. And it's a pretty good candy to mix into your popcorn. And speaking of melted chocolate, a candy that doesn't have that is M&Ms. So number 2, M&Ms. This goes for any type of M&Ms. It could be peanut M&Ms, hazelnut M&Ms, caramel M&Ms, pretzel M&Ms, mint M&Ms, peanut butter M&Ms. All of those M&Ms, they have a hard candy shell. And so if you mix the hard candy shell in with the popcorn, it's not going to melt, which is really nice. In fact, that's why M&Ms were created. I think it was started during the war because we wanted to, for whatever reason, we wanted to send soldiers candy pieces when they were fighting in the war. But if they were in really hot places, I think maybe it was Vietnam or maybe the Middle East somewhere. I don't know. I'm not a historian. But M&Ms were created with the purpose of making sure that the chocolate didn't melt in really hot places. And that's perfect for adding M&Ms into popcorn now. Went from war to the comfort of your home. So, pick any M&Ms you like. I personally am a big fan of the peanut M&Ms and the pretzel M&Ms. I think those taste really good when you mix them in with popcorn. You're just going to have to try different kinds and see what you like the most. But always start with classic M&Ms. Can't go wrong with that. Nothing wrong with a little chocolate and mixed in with your popcorn. And of course, with the hard candy shell, doesn't melt, makes it a little bit easier. Okay, let's move on. Number 3, very similar. Reese's Pieces. Reese's Pieces, as you know, very similar. They have a hard candy shell like M&Ms. But inside, instead of chocolate, it's peanut butter most of the time. So you get a nice, instead of that sweet chocolatey taste, you get a nice nutty, delicious peanut taste in your mouth. Mix it with the popcorn. And I think the peanut butter taste goes really well with the popcorn. And what you can also do, what I would recommend, is mixing in regular M&Ms and Reese's Pieces M&Ms. So you get a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of peanut butter, mixed in with all that popcorn. It tastes delicious. And of course, because of the hard candy shell, it's not going to melt, which is really nice. It makes for a pretty neat, clean snacking experience. Now we're moving away from candy a little bit. Now we're getting into items that are might be considered a little bit unorthodox, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna go for it and just try it. Bear with me, because if you try, I think you'll really enjoy it. Number 4, Oreos, Oreo cookies. Again, Oreos of any kind, whatever your preference. I think the standard chocolate and vanilla frosting, the regular Oreos, work really great. But I think also they're the yellow packaging. I think they're vanilla flavoring. Those Oreos taste really well. You can either just drop the Oreos into your bucket of popcorn, or you can crush them up and mix them in with your popcorn. Either way, I think it tastes really delicious. Keep in mind, if you do crush them up, the frosting is going to melt. It's going to probably leave your hands a little bit sticky, but no worries. You can just wipe it off with a napkin or just lick that off, whatever you prefer. I generally don't crush up the Oreos. I've done it a few times. I just prefer to eat them straight out of the popcorn. I think it tastes really good. There's something about the soft cookie and the frosting of the Oreos that goes really well, I think, with popcorn. Tastes really good, and I don't think a lot of people pair those two items together very, very often. Or maybe they do, I don't know. But I think it is delicious and definitely worth a try. So the last thing I want to draw your attention to is just an overall category of chips. I think, much like popcorn, chips are kind of a staple of any kind of junk food meal, junk food snacking experience. So they serve very similar purposes. They're not healthy, they taste delicious, and they come in a variety of flavors, just like popcorn. So I think it'd be worth your while to look for your favorite type of chips. Maybe it's Doritos, maybe it's Cheetos, maybe it's Fritos, maybe it's Tim's jalapeno chips, maybe it's those Hawaiian barbecue chips, maybe it's Lay's sour cream and onion chips, whatever. Go out, find some of your favorite chips. You can either crush them up or just mix them in with the popcorn, but try it. Mix it up with your popcorn, see what tastes good. For me personally, I'm a big fan of Takis. I found that if you crushed Takis, and you mix them in with your popcorn, it gives a really nice spicy kind of zing to your popcorn that you don't usually have. It's almost like good chili lime seasoning. I use the purple kind. I can't remember what kind. I think that's Fuego maybe, or Nitro. I can't remember. It's the purple flavor, purple kind of Takis. I think those go really good with popcorn. Cheetos also go really well with popcorn. Cheese puffs go really good with popcorn. Whatever flavor of chip that you choose, the popcorn is going to soak up that flavor regardless of what it is. If it's barbecue, it's sour cream and onion, if it's cheese, if it's spicy, whatever the flavor, your popcorn's going to soak it up. I wouldn't recommend necessarily doing just regular Lay's or regular Ruffles necessarily, or just regular tortilla chips, because that's not going to add a lot of flavor. However, if you're a big fan of textures and you're into that sort of thing when you snack, I think that could make for a really interesting snacking experience. In fact, you could probably mix in popcorn with tortilla chips, dip that in nacho cheese sauce, and there you go. That probably tastes really good. And so, it's up to you. Choose whatever chips you have. It's your choice. It's your journey. It's your snacking journey. So go out and find out whatever chips you have, whatever chips you like, mix it with your popcorn, and just experiment and have some fun. So there you have it, folks. That's my list. Just to run it on down again, we have M&Ms, we have Raisinets, we have Reese's Pieces, we have Oreos, and we have chips. 5 things to spice up your popcorn, just so you have a little more flavor in your life. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week when we talk about something else.